I want to fit these to this, using this to print one of these in this carbon fibre nylon. But can it stand the temperatures of a working engine? And could we anneal it to give it a higher temperature resistance? I don't know. Let's find out. Hello and welcome to Making for Motorsport, where we go as fast as we possibly can while spending as little money as we can get away with, and I'll show you guys the whys and the hows so you can do it too. So, carbon fibre nylon. Sounds good. So it sounds like a really practical, functional filament. You've got nylon, good engineering plastic. You've got carbon fibre for strength and stiffness. Sounds good to me. My issue, I need temperature resistance. So I don't know what the maximum temperature of this is because I can't find it on the website. I don't know what blend of nylon is. And I don't want to wait until halfway through an event to find my throttle bodies have fallen off because my inlet manifold's melted. So we're going to have to test. The other thing I want to know is, can we anneal nylon in the same way you can anneal PLA and get a big hike in its temperature resistance? Again, there's some information out there, but nothing's really clear. So the only way to find out is to test. So I'm going to bring some PLA and some PETG and you guys along for the ride. Let's go find out. So this video really follows on from Stefan at CNC Kitchens test here about annealing 3D print materials. If you haven't seen the video, go and watch it. It's great, loads of info. I'll put a link in the description. But it was missing a couple of things for me. Nylon was the big one. And I also want to see the parts under more stress during the test, so we can see as soon as the strength starts to drop off with the increased temperature. So I've printed 3 sets of these test pieces, which are an 80mm bridge and 3mm thick solid print 100% infill. And I'm going to test one set to destruction to see what the bare performance is, stock straight off the printer, and then anneal the remaining 2 sets in slightly different ways and see what the effects are. Before we do anything, we need to get a baseline so we know how the material behaves straight off the build plate. So I measure each sample X, Y, Z, and I do a simple deflection test using a set weight, 94 grams in this case. Health warning, this is not meant as an outright strength test, it's purely a comparison test to see if it gets more or less stiff after annealing. Just to make sure we didn't get any false readings with movement in the feet, I sanded them flat before starting, because science. Final test of the baseline is failure temps. So I put each sample in the oven with 3 M12 nuts in the middle. It's about 45 grams. It's not a huge amount, but each sample only weighs 3 grams. So it's a reasonable test. I'll start at 50 degrees and go up 10 degrees every 5 minutes, and let's see where they fail. I think the load here is slightly higher than I've seen on other tests, so that gives me a bit more of a real world behaviour, how these parts will behave under high temperature stress. Okay, so breaking news, 61 degrees. We've just come up to 60 for 2 minutes and the PLA is gone. Okay, so we're heading towards 80 and the PETG is out, it's gone. Okay, so the nylon's now showing visible signs of sagging. It's clearly sagging, but to be fair, it is at 183 degrees centigrade. You can see it's starting to give up the ghost now. We'll just check that temperature. Oh yeah, it's definitely 180, 100 and something. See there, 187, 177, sorry. So we have a baseline, and no surprise, the PLA gave up pretty early. The PETG was a little better as expected, but the carbon fibre nylon, wow, that's got some serious performance straight out the box. But as we know, PLA can be improved by annealing, but can we improve nylon and PETG? What even is annealing? Well, there are many videos on this, and it's quite scientific and in depth, so I can't really do detail, but to oversimplify, annealing is holding the material at a temperature that allows internal stresses to dissipate and allows the molecular structure to stabilize. So it can go from something like this, which is called amorphous, to something like this, which is called crystalline. Now that is a vast simplification, but if I find anything that's got some actual science to it, I'll put the links to it down in the description if you guys fancy doing some homework. So I did 2 annealing trials, one at 100 degrees for 1 hour, and these are the results. So you can see the PLA has warped, fairly well, well to the point where you wouldn't be able to use it as a part anymore for its intended purpose. The PETG is still relatively straight, although there is a bit of a gap there if you can see it, but certainly it's warped enough, so again you couldn't use that for its intended purpose. But the nylon is absolutely bob on. I have looked at this quite closely and there is 0 deflection at all. So that's the 100 degrees, so already we're too hot for the PLA and the PETG, but we're not really here for them. Let's look at the 140 for 2 hours, the second annealing trial, and the blue PETG is now just a shiny piece of modern art, waste of time. The PLA is doing its best banana impression. I'm not even going to bother measuring that. And the nylon again is absolutely like it was printed, absolutely beautiful. So, and that was 140 degrees for 2 hours, which is well above its glass temperature. So they'll put some the differences in the measurements on the screen. I was only really able to remeasure the nylon because the others were not the same shape, but basically there's less than 1% size change across all 3 dimensions of both the nylons. So really there's no issue with this stuff holding its shape or maintaining the same functionality whilst you're annealing it, so that's good. But has it actually done anything? So I've done the deflection tests again, and same as, there's no real change. It's all within the margin of error, as you can see from these graphs. I managed to do the deflection test on the PETG, and that seemed to have improved, but the nylon, roughly the same, within margins of error of measurement. So has the annealing actually done anything? Well, let's put it in the oven and let's find out. So here we have the PLA, PETG and nylon from the first annealing trial, 100 degrees, 1 hour. We have here the only survivor from the second annealing trial, the nylon. So we're going to put the same weights on them as we did last time. Well, the PLA is looking a little wobbly already. Godspeed, gentlemen. At nearly 90 degrees, the PETG has gone. So the annealing giving that a 10-degree improvement. The PLA, however, is going strong, has not shown any signs of buckling at the moment. So we continue the test. Okay, so 145 degrees and the PLA is starting to show some signs now. It is starting to buckle significantly. Far better than the 60 degrees it managed beforehand. However, the 2 nylons are absolutely straight as a die. So it's 195 degrees and both are showing signs. The first anneal, the lower temperature anneal, has completely gone, but the second annealed temperature, the longer annealed item, is just starting to sag. So maybe 3 or 4 degrees in it, not much. So what have we learned? Well, number one, straight off the bed, this carbon fibre nylon from Sainsmart is very temperature resistant. The test we got, we didn't get any sag until 175 degrees, which is great. I'm sure if we used a higher load, we'd get more sagging at a lower temperature, but certainly the signs compared to all the other filaments, even annealed PLA, are great. Number two, you can anneal nylon. Certainly this one, it doesn't make much of a difference. I think we got 10 degrees difference out of it. So for all the extra faff, extra effort, it's really not worth it, because it's not going to bump you up into a higher temperature category. That said, it's very easy. There's no dimensional changes. It was still very stiff at 140 degrees. Personally though, I don't think I'll be bothering. Number three, I think we found the right filament to have a go at making our induction manifold. But I think it might still need a few other bits and bobs on the way to help them be reliable over the long term. So if this has inspired you guys to use any of the high spec filament for any other demanding jobs that you've got, please put a message down in the comments. I'd love to hear about them and find out more about your projects. If you found this interesting, please give it a thumbs up. And hey, if you're still watching to now, give it a thumbs up as well. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, guys, and catch you later.